is plagiarism? Webster's dictionary defines plagiarism as the act of using another person's words or ideas without giving credit to that person. You might be asking yourself, why must I avoid plagiarism? If I like an author's words and I agree with them, can't I just take them as my own? It can't be that big of a deal. Well, the truth is, it is a big deal, and I'll tell you why by using some real-world examples. The first is the case of Jonah Lear. Lear recently resigned as a writer for The New Yorker after he was caught self-plagiarizing on a number of occasions. Instead of coming up with new material, he attempted to reuse some passages he had already written. He was also caught fabricating quotes for a book he was writing. He was denied publication after this discovery, ruining his writing career on two separate fronts. Next, we have Kenny Florian. Florian, a retired mixed martial arts competitor and now commentator for Fox Sports, was suspended from his position in January of 2016 after it was noticed that his analysis of an upcoming MMA fight was too similar to the wording of a YouTube video created by boxing analyst Lee Wiley. Florian quickly apologized for the plagiarism, calling it an error, but the damage had already been done. Fox Sports suspended Florian from his position. And lastly, we have musician Robin Thicke. In 2015, a court of law decided that Robin Thicke's song, Blurred Lines, too closely resembled the 1977 classic Gotta Give It Up by Marvin Gaye, and required Thicke to pay Gaye's family $7.5 million. Now that's a costly mistake. So you can see that plagiarism is a big deal, and it has some major consequences in the real world. But what does that mean for you when you go to write your papers for school? Well, in school you will not have to worry about being fined or losing your job, but you could face some serious consequences which could hurt your academic career. Shepherd University's policy states that academic dishonesty is prohibited. Any act of academic dishonesty could lead to failing the student for the assignment, failing the student for the course, or possibly suspending or even dismissing that student from Shepherd University altogether. Now, no one wants that for you, so let's make sure you can identify plagiarism in all of its forms. Plagiarism can be intentional or unintentional, and we're probably all familiar with the intentional kind. It could mean buying an essay from a website, and trust me, there are plenty of them out there, but let me assure you that Turnitin will alert on these in an instant. Besides, they are rarely well written. Why would you pay for a paper that wouldn't even get you an A? You could also ask someone to write it for you. The only problem is that you paid to be in this class so that you can improve on your writing skills. If you turn in something your mom, your roommate, or your best friend wrote, how are you going to benefit from the feedback you'll be getting? Well, you just plain won't. You could also copy parts of other essays or articles word for word and then claim these are your own words. But again, similarity reports from Turnitin will show this, so why risk it? The truth is that most people would never even think to plagiarize intentionally. But what about doing it accidentally? Maybe you just forgot the in-text citation at the end of a quote. Or maybe you forgot to put quotation marks around it. That's not that big of a deal, right? You didn't do it intentionally. Wrong. Even if you unintentionally plagiarize, you could suffer the same consequences. That is why it's important to reread your work and check for proper citations before you turn anything in. Did you know that inexperienced writers most often plagiarize by paraphrasing an author's ideas without giving that author credit? I know what you're thinking. If you're paraphrasing, you're putting it in your own words. So why is that plagiarism? Well, even paraphrases must have a citation at the end of the sentence because you must give credit to ideas as well as words. Did you also know that making up a source, which doesn't really exist, is also considered plagiarism? It's hard to believe, but it's true. And there's one more way to plagiarize that you might not know. You cannot copy and paste words, even if they're your own words, from a previous assignment that you had written. Yes, you can actually plagiarize yourself. The best way to avoid this is to write something new and original each time you write for an assignment. Now, this list was made to allow you to identify what plagiarism is. In the next video, you'll be given several tips on how to avoid it in your writing.
Created using Powtoon.